I want to give you some examples of magic that are definable, sometimes undefinable, so what we call ineffable or unexplainable. So I explained my first time getting rid of quote-unquote demons with writing a letter to Benny Hinn Ministries and those issues being resolved. Okay, so that's what you would call magic. There's a breaking of connections. Use sticks or cutting of the rope, things of that matter. I like to transcribe and write, or I like to vocalize my desires. So anytime you use magic, it's a time where you mentally can't comprehend how to achieve your goal. So you use magic, and some of these things aren't able to be resolved because there are internal conflicts within yourself. So magic, I don't see as something to be used to gain a asset. But if you wanted to gain that asset by your function in the world and you needed a skill, I can see using magic to learn a skill to earn something. Otherwise, you're going to use magic to gain and somebody's going to lose, right? So during my we'll call it like initiations into the Greek pantheon, that was a time where I requested a deity to search me out and help me. So along came Hades, and if you've watched my other videos, you'll see what happened in detail. My feelings and my experiences, which are proof to me that these deities exist, whether or not they're archetypes or in your subconscious. Other experiences I had when I was, and you saw this in another video, but when I was trying to communicate with Hades, I asked him for a gift. And this is where it's real important to identify, and you're going to hear some examples here where you must clearly identify exactly what you want and be able to accept and receive those requests in your current time. So in your current position and in the current laws that you live. All right? So I hope we all grasp that. Your desire has to, it doesn't have to. Your desire of the outcome of your magic, you should and make sure that the outcome is going to be within the bounds of the laws that you live, okay? Within the situations that you're in. And I'm going to explain these very simply on the outcomes, okay? So the one time when I was communicating with Hades, I asked him for a gift. And I sigh, but it's great. So I asked him for a gift. And in my mind, I was thinking ability. I was thinking, ability and something flashy, something with a wow factor. Kind of like a magician, I guess, right? Like, I don't know what I was looking for, fortune telling or future telling or something, but I already had gifts of reading people and communicating with people. So I asked for a gift, right? And so a couple days went down the road, and I think it was about 3 days. It's usually 3 days. I was out in the parking lot and heard his kitten, and I ended up getting this cat to walk right up to me, and I'm severely allergic to cats. So I ended up getting this cat, and she walked right up to me. Took her home, and I'm severely allergic to cats, like respiratory shutdown, wheezing, closing up, the whole 9 yards. So I'm not allergic to this cat whatsoever. She's a black cat. She has phenomenal eyes, just the craziest pattern I've ever seen in her iris. So just call it like a mutation is what the vet said. And she's smaller. I picked her up and I could literally put her in the palm of my hand, and she was fully functional. And she's a little bit smaller than a normal cat, so I think she might have been a runt and got kicked out or a little bit early. But at any rate, so Agate had mentioned in one of the divinations, and my wife had also mentioned, it's like, you asked Hades for a gift and this is it. I said, oh, I was looking for another gift, like a gift to do something. But I'll tell you what, she's been like the best thing, you know, that's happened in our family. So she's an awesome cat. I'll call her my familiar if you want. She comes into this room. This is my ritual room. You might not see much going on, and I'll share that at another point. But she comes in here and she's just so active and so happy to be in here. So so that cat is proof to request and ritual. That's Magick. The next example, I was at my job, and I think I needed another vehicle real bad. I was visualizing a vehicle, didn't really have it, you know, kind of picked out. It was going to be, I had my idea for about a year of you know, just a two-wheel drive, four-door pickup truck, enough to take the family around, right? You know, and go on trips and whatever. But on this small island, I really just needed a truck and a second vehicle to be reliable and to be semi-comfortable, because the roads here are pretty severely rough. Besides the point, I asked for, I just want $6,000 in my hand. That's what I want. I want $6,000 in my hand. I'll be able to go out and get another car. So I did that, and I got this new job. It was paying, you know, but you're always consuming money, and it just slips out of your hand. So I opened up this new store, renovated it, and we didn't have a deposit set up yet or anything, so I was taking all this cash home. And the one night I counted $6,000. Oh shoot, it was in my hand, right? Well, it wasn't my money. So that's where you got to be a little bit careful. On that point, I wasn't really careful. It was more along the lines of your definition of your desire. Okay. So the next example, well, I ended up getting kind of the vehicle I visualized. It's a very low mileage vehicle. I was able to, my boss ended up buying it for me. So it's a four-door pickup, two-wheel drive, low miles. It's all beat to crap on the body. I mean, slaughtered. So it's a $14,000 truck at the time. I got it for like $3,700. So perfectly stellar vehicle for running around. So that's the envisionment of what I wanted. Like, okay, so I had him do a typical ritual of sigil or sigil writing, okay? Envisionment. So I had them bury or burn depending on their request. And so they made 2 sigils, walked them through that process, kept one, and burned and buried one, dependent, okay? So the one's request, the roommate, was to be able to do whatever he wanted. Fair enough, right? So the next request from the husband of the house was to be able to spend more time at home with his wife. Okay? So the request from the wife was to have a child. Have a child, right? So here's what transcribed out of that. And this is why it's really important to be very careful. And what I mentioned with the laws that you live in and everything like that. Okay? So the person that wanted to do whatever they wanted ended up finding another place to live on his own, and he had a great time. I mean, he met a girlfriend, and went and hung out, and he's just doing his thing. So it's exactly what he wanted. He didn't want a whole lot. He just moved out. No big deal. The wife, she did not get pregnant. She did not have a child, but they did get another puppy. So, is there things going on in the background? I don't know, but they got another puppy. So, is that a baby? I got fur kids. I don't have real kids. I have fur kids. So, that's what transcribed out of that. The husband that wanted to spend more time at home with his wife. His work, it's military. When you request something that will split the bonds and go out of sync of something that's very difficult to move, you will have issues, okay? So what had happened is his work, his duty got insanely stressful and insanely difficult. So he got severely stressed out, had a severe mental breakdown, and then ended up getting a little bit of medical, separation to be able to stay at home. And then he had more time home with his wife. The end result of this is he had a lighter duty, he lost his qualifications and clearances, and he's on his way out of his career. So, was it something I did? It's something he wanted. So, you have to be very careful with what you do. I don't have a lot of grief for this because this person ended up crossing me. He went beyond friends into money logic, and that was it. So my one technician that worked with me here, we were talking one slow day, and I said, if there's one thing you really wish for, what is it? And he said, I'd really like to be out of debt, get out of debt. I'm like, man, you can make that happen right now. I was like, you go out and stand in the street, get hit by a bus, you'll be out of debt, for sure. I said, well, what's one thing that you could, make yourself better? So he said, I don't know, I just kind of like, I doubt myself sometimes. I was like, okay, let's stop there. Self-doubt. You want to get rid of self-doubt? Let's do it. So we're sitting in a garage, and literally I said, grab that center cap over there. So it's a big center cap for like a 4x4 wheel. So I said, okay, grab a piece of paper and a pen. So I was like, right on there, self-doubt, okay? So he did. I was like, set it on fire. So he set it on fire. I was like, throw it in the can. It's like, that's it. He said, what do you mean? I was like, it's gone. That's what you do. And he started to grasp, kind of what he did. So I didn't bring it up, but I could see a change in his confidence a little bit. and he ended up getting another job, possibility of another job, through a much better career path than what we could offer. So I said, run and go. You know, full benefits, government contracts, all that stuff. I said, go. So he did his thing, and he's good. So yeah, that's those are just a couple examples. So you know, again, those are proof of magic. Could they have transcribed into without invoking magic? Sure. You know, it was just resetting your mental state, resetting your desires and wants. So it's fairly powerful, but don't misuse it. But, thank you again for watching, and keep looking in the mirror.